are live for another edition of Chicago Bears Now here on YouTube and on Rumble. Welcome in. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody for tuning in to the show, and we'll have you covered with the latest Chicago Bears news and rumors. Also, we're going to be live on the Callin app right after YouTube and Rumble end. Should be around 4 o'clock Central Time, 5 o'clock Eastern. So we'll get you ready to go for that as well. Appreciate everybody for who is tuning in. Shout out your city. Let us know where you guys are watching from, and we'll get some shout outs going as well. Tyler Smith says Dakota Dozier on IR. Yep, that's why it says that in the headline, Tyler, but that happened earlier today, so we'll break down that news, of course, and any other news that drops between now and the end of the show. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let's see. Shout out your city. My chat is not uploading here, so I'm going to refresh here, see if I can read all your glorious comments. Here we go. Now they're in. We got Bear Down. We got nice shirt from Tyler. Appreciate that. Riverton, Wyoming. Anderson, Indiana. Tampa, Florida. We got Kenosha. Craig is in Winona, Minnesota. Upstate New York. In the chat, Francisco in El Paso. We got K. Muddy in Phoenix. Denise Clark in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Matt Nagy in Titletown, Kansas City, he says. Thanks, Nagy. Bear Down from Montana. How's the Yellowstone doing? Had a rough couple of weeks, I saw. Fort Wayne, Indiana. We got Apopka, Florida. Ooh, already a lot of FGBs coming in. Tempe, Arizona. That's where Jack went to college at the non-party school that is Arizona State. Jonesboro, Arkansas from Joe P. Sycamore from Bear Nation. Did you go to Sycamore High School? Decatur, Illinois. We got Christopher Say in Chi-Town, Norfolk, Nebraska. So you guys repping, always repping here on Chicago Bears Now. All right, name a free agent offensive lineman that the Bears should sign. Let me know who you would like that person to be, because Dakota Dozier is on injured reserve. So one less body to work with, and let's be honest, right guard and really both tackle spots could be up for grabs. So who would you like to see the Bears sign on the offensive line? Maybe you want an Eric Fisher, Dwayne Brown, a Quentin Spain, Eric Flowers, someone like that. Let me know. Flowers, Schofield, or Spain. L2 says, hey, Harrison, what's going on, L2? How we doing? Eric Flowers, Spain from Lucas and Scott Osborne. Quentin Spain from Chris. Chris Ashford, Apopka represent. That's what's up from Connor. K. Muddy says, or Kamani says, Spain. Dwayne Brown from Bleezy, or Busy. Quentin Spain from Tyler. Corey says Spain. Anyone who can fill in at right guard. Yeah, that would be the truth, wouldn't it? Eric Fisher, Quentin Spain. And, yeah, Eric Fisher. I'd be happy with any of those names that you guys just dropped. Name a surprise player that will make the Bears 53-man roster. Maybe a UDFA, maybe a deep sleeper that we haven't been talking about much here at Bears Now. Later on our live show, we'll do a 53-man roster projection, an early one following mandatory minicamp. We'll, of course, do that again once training camp rolls along, and then we'll do a final one before roster cuts are made. Who's the surprise name that'll make the roster? And, yeah, Ryan with a good answer. Julio Jones. It could be someone who's not even on the roster. Daz Newsome or David Moore from Nicholas. Let's see. I'm down for Eric Fisher from Bear Nation. Carson Taylor, that's a name to monitor. We might be talking about him later out. The UDFA tight end out of Utah. The UDFA tight end out of Utah. I'm thinking of the one out of Iowa State, Chase Allen, as a potential guy. Tristan Ebner, Caleb Johnson, Dante Pettis, Thomas Graham starting nickel. Maybe K-Money. Use hashtag Bears to get that question in. Ogunjobi, who's visiting the Steelers today. Jack Sanborn, he's a good one. Chase Allen, Ogunjobi, Eric Kramer, Tristan Ebner, John Alexander. Continue to get your votes. Matt Nagy says Tyler Bray. Come on, be real, coach. Larry says Eric Fisher, Dante Pettis, Kadarius Toney. I don't think they're trading for Toney. I don't think that's going to happen. All right, you guys know the drill. Screw the Packers. Type FGB. Light up the comments right now, because no one likes the Packers except for Packers fans. That's just how it is. So get the FGBs going. That's what we do here. We can't stand Green Bay, so FGB in the comments. Here we go. Scott in the chat, Bear, Travis, New Generation, Tyler Smith, Raleigh, Cornelius, Killin DeVillen. We got Ryan in there, Malcolm, Chris, Nicholas, someone saying FAR as well. That's Michael Ortman, Rashad White in the chat, K Money. We got Travis, let's see, Busy's in there, Raleigh's in there, Heidi is in the chat as well. Carlos Gonzalez with the FGBs, FDB as in F. Don Burr from Killin DeVille. And we got F. Rogers, F. LaFleur, FGB from Nicholas Ritchie, Howard saying FGB, Craig saying FGB. Hey, it's FGB, ride or die. That's just how we do it here at Bears Now. All right, if you love the Bears, like the video. Let's get to 80 likes. We got 220 people watching, only 36 likes. Let's get to 80. Come on. Like the video if you love the Bears. If you can't stand the Packers, then like this video and let me know once you've liked it, and I will give you guys a shout-out as well. Timothy, he's saying, let's hit the like button. 224, only 37 likes. Can't happen. Can't happen. Come on. Let's get it going. Let's get it going right now. Bear Nation says like. Let's see. Travis has liked it. $86 likes. Let's go ahead and get it to 100. Come on. Let's see. Raleigh Rico has liked it. Kyle has liked it. 8 likes away from 100 likes. Howard has liked it. And I appreciate everybody who has tuned into the show. K Money, Stan, Ivory, Timothy, Aaron, Joey, John, Wins Beyond, everybody liking today's show. There we go, over 100 likes. All right, coming up on Chicago Bears Now, the latest news and rumors. Training camp dates have been announced. We'll inform you on that. Live Q&A, use hashtag Bears or Super Chat to get your questions on the show. Also, a 53-man roster projection following minicamp. We'll get into all of that and more. Plus, Bears Now on Callin. As soon as YouTube and Rumble ends, we're going to go live over there. Chatsports.com/BearsCallin. That is chatsports.com/BearsCallin. Be sure to join us on the Callin app, chatsports.com/BearsCallin. All right, I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Let's get into today's show. You're watching Bears Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Got Bush? Well, no longer with Manscaped. The Lawnmower 4.0 is going to trim that thing right up. Today's show presented by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Use promo code BEARS20. That'll get you 20% off plus free shipping. All right, let's get to the news of the day, and then we'll get into a couple of other headlines as well. Bears Communications tweeting this out. We kind of saw this late last night. I put a community post up. Bears signed free agent defensive back Jayson Stanley out of Georgia, 2019 undrafted free agent. He's kind of bounced around. And then we have placed the following player on injured reserve, that of course being Dakota Dozier, who got carted off the field last week. Number one, tough break for Dozier. I didn't want him to start, but he probably was in the mix to have a chance to start at right guard. Now that will not be the case, obviously, as he heads to IR, so he is out of the mix on the Bears offensive line. As far as Stanley goes, you're talking about a career journeyman. This is his 6th team since 2019. He's bounced around a few different practice squads. Only 8 career starts, all of which took place last season with the Seattle Seahawks. Decent size at 6'2", but this is a camp body at best, I would think. I don't think he'll push for a roster spot, but got a little playing time last year for Seattle, so he joins the fray in Chicago as Dozier heads to injured reserve. When Bears news happens, no matter how big or small, we have you covered here on Chicago Bears Now, so hit that subscribe button, youtube.com/Bears Now. We will continue to bring you the latest Bears news and rumors, plus do other segments on a daily basis. Like on Monday, we did our Who is Braxton Jones segment. A lot of you guys enjoyed that. Maybe we'll do something similar soon. youtube.com/Bears Now. More videos to come here on this channel. I think the more significant part of it is the Dozier injury. Not necessarily because that's a high-leverage starter or something like that, but I still look at this right guard spot and still have question marks at tackle, by the way, but especially right guard, and I'm like, do you feel comfortable with Sam Mustipher or Zach Thomas or J. Tyree Carter? I would say the answer is no. That is what I would say. I think these are your potential starting right guards that you currently have in Mustipher, Thomas, Carter. Tevin Jenkins, Larry Borum, maybe one of those guys kicks inside. That, of course, could be a possibility. Now, if it were me, I'd go side of guard. Listen, I would feel better about this offensive line if they signed one more vet. Technically hired because it's a job at the end of the day. Go sign one more vet, right? Whether it's a tackle or a guard. I think a right guard makes a lot of sense. Here are three guys that could come in and start at right guard. Quentin Spain. Talked about him quite a bit. Veteran guy. He's been an above-average starter in this league. I'm surprised he remains unsigned. Eric Flowers, another starting caliber guard. He's not great, but he's kind of made himself into a decent guard after being a bust as a tackle coming out of college. And then Darrell Williams, who can play right tackle or right guard, gives you that flexibility. If nothing else, he's a quality depth guy at best. He can start at one of those two spots. I would feel much better if this team would sign one more veteran. I really would. I'm not saying I'd feel great about the offensive line, but I think I'd feel better than I did now. If you signed a guy that is a proven starter, then you'd feel pretty good about 3 of the 5 spots with Patrick at center. I think Whitehair is a candidate to bounce back and play pretty well, and then whoever this vet is, and then hopefully out of the other 2 guys that are question marks, if it's your 2 tackles, hopefully at least one of the 2 plays pretty well, and you only have 1 weak link. Name an offensive lineman that the Bears should sign in free agency before training camp. Let me know down in the comment section. Sometimes this is the time of year that moves happen before camp gets here, as teams evaluate their rosters, how things sit after minicamp and OTAs. So let me know, name an offensive lineman that the Bears should go out and sign. Coming up in just a few moments, the Bears training camp schedule has been released finally, so we know when the Bears will return to Halas Hall for training camp and which practices will be open to the public. So if you're interested in going out to Halas Hall for training camp, stay tuned. We'll have you covered with all of that information. But first, appreciate Manscaped for sponsoring today's show. Like I said, the Lawnmower 4.0 going to shave you up nice and gently downstairs, give you a nice little trim to make your package look a little bit bigger. You can get 20% off at manscaped.com with promo code BEARS20. Also comes with free shipping as well. The Lawnmower is a great product because it's waterproof. It's got 4 adjustable guards there, so you can kind of vary how much hair you want to leave downstairs. If you want to leave a bit of a soul patch, you can do that as well. Advanced skincare technology, going to limit the razor burn and all that stuff. This is high quality stuff, a high quality product that I've been using for almost a year now. I used to use the 3.0, been using the 4.0 for a while. Promo code BEARS20, manscaped.com. We'll have that information in the comments and in the description of this video. All right, let's get to that training camp information, this schedule here. Camp's going to open up July 26th. And then some other notable dates, the 3 preseason games kind of sandwiched in there during training camp. Home game against the Chiefs, a couple of roadies against the Seattle Seahawks on the 18th, and then the Browns on the 27th. And then camp closes on September 1st as the Bears will then get kind of into their normal practice routine before that Week 1 matchup against San Francisco. I think this is the information you guys are really interested in, because I'm sure a lot of you guys will try to go to open practices at training camp. 11 practices in total. 3 of them there, July 28th through 30th. Those will all start at 10 a.m. Central, as will all of these, by the way. August 2nd and 3rd, those 2 practices are open. August 5th is an open practice, so is August 7th, the 10th, the 11th, the 15th, and the 20th. All practices open to the public. There's several that are not, but 11 total open practices. I think that's pretty good work by Matt Eberflus. So the local fans can come out, and some guys can fly in and get a taste of what this team is going to look like. Bears football, it's in the air. It's almost here. You think about it, July 26th, that's just over a month away. It's about, 5 weeks or so, and then training camp will be here. So just like that, it'll be back, and we'll get ready for the 2022 season. I, for one, cannot wait, because this is the time of the year where it's like, there's not a ton going on. let's get some real football, and that starts at training camp. All right, will you go to a training camp practice? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Let me know in the comments what you guys plan on doing. Will you attend a Bears training camp practice this year? Get your votes in. Let me know down in the comments section. Is Fields going to disappoint in 2022? I don't think so, but Bleacher Report does, as they named Justin Fields as the Bears player that could be a disappointment this year. Did an article for all 32 teams and listed one player on each team that could disappoint. And, you know, they went the national media narrative route with, oh, well, they haven't put enough around him, whereas, you know, other second-year quarterbacks have more around him than Fields does. Now the Bears continue to praise Fields publicly. They continue to say that he's doing all the right things, that he continues to make progress. So I guess we're going to find out, right? Here's what Bleacher Report had to say in this article. While fellow 2021 first-round quarterbacks Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson saw their teams make major changes to their offensive personnel, Justin Fields had to settle for a few backup receivers with the addition of Byron Pringle, Equidemius St. Brown, Tajay Sharp, and Dante Pettis. None of them has caught 50 passes in a single campaign. While the team may expect Fields to show vast improvement, don't count on that happening in 2022. Now, look, the national media has been saying this for months, right? They haven't done nearly enough. They haven't done nearly enough, which I understand all that. What they fail to acknowledge is the coaching change and the scheme change and all that stuff, and Fields simply just growing as a player, getting all the first-team reps, but they don't want to include that in the narrative. I understand what they're saying about the personnel. Some guys are going to have to step up that have to prove more than what they have in the past. But at the end of the day, it's up to the Bears, these receivers, this offensive line, these guys to shake that national narrative and say, you know what, it doesn't matter what Bleacher Report says. It matters what we're doing on the field and what this locker room believes in. And I think that this team believes that Justin Fields is going to take that next step from what he did as a rookie, where at times he flashed major potential. At other times, well, he looked like a rookie. And that's kind of how things go in the NFL. You don't come in after being fantastic at Ohio State, dominating, and just take over the league. It just doesn't really work that way. But hopefully with this new coaching staff and with the minor additions that are in place, and with another year of Darnell Mooney, Cole Kmet, hopefully taking that next step, that Justin Fields can break out this year. Now, look, don't get me wrong. I am still open to adding more pieces on this offense, whether it's a wide receiver or another offensive lineman or two, which we talked about earlier. Definitely open to doing that. I would have no complaints whatsoever if the Bears went out and did that, which they still might. They've got the money to do so, and there's a lot of time between now and week one. But I'm also not just going to accept the narrative that, well, Fields and the Bears are screwed because they haven't put enough around them. I don't think that's necessarily the case. Now, time will tell. It's up to the Bears to prove the national media wrong. But at this point in time, I think it's okay to feel okay about where the Bears are at. Now, do you believe in Justin Fields? Because this is kind of the crux of the whole thing, right? If you don't, then, you know, nothing else really matters at the end of the day. Type B for believe, type D for don't. Let me know if you believe or don't believe in the Bears' second-year quarterback. All right, that's going to do it for our news and rumor show here. Make sure you guys subscribe, youtube.com/BearsNow. We will continue to bring you videos on a daily basis. All right, we'll get some shout-outs here as we continue to roll along with our live show. B for believe, D for don't. Get your votes in. Robert says believe. Maybe. You can type M for maybe, Andy. Ivory says believe. Let's see. Sarge says believe. Francisco says believe. Sangray Kim in the chat says that he does not believe. B Infinity. Is that coming through, by the way? Yeah. Cool. Raphael says believe. FGB for Culver. That's always the right answer. All right, we got a $20 super sticker from Ramon. Our software doesn't show the little GIF, but it's one of those pair characters. Appreciate the $20 from Roman, I should say. Really nice donation. Appreciate that, my friend. If you guys super chat and ask a question, we will get those on our show. And speaking of which, it is mailbag time. So use hashtag Bears or super chat, and we'll get to all of your questions. Hashtag Bears or super chat. We'll answer as many of those as we possibly can. So load them up. That way producer Jack can find them, and we will be able to hopefully answer all of your questions. Before we jump into today's Chicago Bears mailbag, where I answer all of your questions, make sure you subscribe so we don't miss any of your questions on a future show. So hit that subscribe button. Join us every single day. If you love the Bears, we continue to bring you the latest news and rumors around the Chicago Bears. So go ahead and subscribe and share that link with a friend, youtube.com/BearsNow. You're watching Bears Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. It is mailbag time on today's show. So let's answer as many questions as we possibly can. If you super chat, you can skip to the front of the line. Michael Ortman, appreciate the $2. Trade 2023 first-round pick for DK. I mean, listen, I've told you guys I like DK a lot. I think he would fit in really well here. If it was only your first next year for Metcalf, I probably would consider it. If it was like a first and a second, I can understand the hesitation. I can understand both sides of it because Ryan Poles believes building through the draft is the way to go, and he doesn't want to trade major draft capital, at least not yet. Vibing with the dog, what's good? Appreciate the $5. How would you feel if we started a rookie left tackle and a rookie right guard week 1? I mean, I'd be, I don't know if nervous is the right word, but I would be slightly concerned that that's asking a lot out of a pair of rookies. But if that's the best 5, then play the best 5. Now, I would argue to get to the best 5, you could sign somebody like Quentin Spain or Eric Flowers or Eric Fisher, Dwayne Brown. Like, all those guys would really help. But out of the guys you currently have, if Braxton Jones is at left tackle and Zach Thomas is your right guard, or Jatiri Carter or something like that, well, then so be it. Play the best 5. Don't play guys who have been here longer. Lucas Praying, another $5. Appreciate that. Trying to go to my first Bears training camp this year, and I'm super excited. Nice. Do you have any plans on going to training camp or preseason games? No plans in the works for now. I'd love to go in the future, though. I think it'd be a lot of fun to get out there and interact with some of you fans and go watch a couple of practices. But for now, that is not in the plans, but you never know what could be in store for the future. Chris Peacock, is Cole Kmet ready to have a big season in year 3? Oh, wow. Chris Peacock, I think I'm sidetracked here. I think he is ready because you look at the growth he made last year in which he doubled his targets, doubled his catches, more than doubled his yards. His average went up. Sure, he didn't have a touchdown, but that's because they were obsessed with trying to get Jimmy Graham involved in the red zone. Had he had 3 or 4 touchdowns last year, I think we would have been looking at this like, damn, that was a nice second year for Cole Kmet. 60 catches, 600 yards, 3-4 touchdowns. But everybody's like, well, he didn't even have a touchdown. Yeah, he still had 60 for 612. I mean, that was like top 12 in the NFL among tight ends. It's not bad at all. So, yeah, I think if he continues to improve in that area, plus add some touchdowns, then I think we're going to be feeling pretty good about Cole Kmet at the end of 2022. Will Cole Kmet have a breakout year? What do you guys think? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Predict it for us down in the comments. Will Cole Kmet break out this year? Mr. Inglewood, $2. Appreciate it. Give up a 3rd or 4th for Calvin Ridley in 23. I mean, that would be tempting because you're buying low on a guy who's going to be suspended this year due to the gambling situation. But listen, we don't know what's going on with Ridley. Like, is he going to be good after basically missing 2 years because he walked away early last year? I don't know. I like Calvin Ridley a lot. He's very talented. Obviously, the Bears drafted his brother, Riley Ridley. That didn't work out. Shout out to Nagy and the boys. No, I'm just kidding. I just think Riley wasn't as good. But, yeah, I mean, that's pretty tempting. I don't think it would happen right now, but maybe in the offseason. Nicholas Ritchie, why is Poles so cheap? You could get any of those guards for cheap, and Fields has a good chance of not getting pummeled. It may not be a money thing. It may be we don't want to bring in a 31-year-old veteran to start at right guard, or maybe they don't feel they fit the scheme. It could be a number of different things. Maybe they're still just in the evaluating stage of, hey, we just got through minicamp and OTAs. Let's see how we feel about these other offensive linemen. So I don't think it's necessarily about money, but I will say this. They do want to carry over cap to next year, roll over some of that money. So that could be part of it. RJ Kingshark, how many passing touchdowns will Bustin Fields have? I don't think he's a bust, but, you guys are entitled to your opinions. About 22. 22 passing, 6 rushing, 28 total. Let's do it. That'd be fun. Make sure you guys are subscribed to us on the Callin app. The link is right there, chatsports.com/BearsCallin. Audio social podcasting app in which you guys are allowed to call in, just like Twitter Spaces. You just, boom, hop into the caller queue. I pod you up. We chop up some Bears football back and forth. This is your chance to call into the show. Chatsports.com/BearsCallin. That is chatsports.com/BearsCallin. Join in on the movement. Also, there's a link to iOS and Android download in the live chat to download the app on your mobile device. Also, if you're watching on a TV, screenshot this, and it'll redirect you to Bears Now on Callin. So QR code right there. You're good to go. Let's make it happen. Let's continue to grow over there. Oh, a new Stingray Kid was coming. Bustin Fields for Sam Darnold and a first. No. Sure, you get a first out of it, but still no. Sam Darnold stinks, number one. He is horrible. I'd rather just trade for a first. Like, I don't even want Darnold. So, no, that's not going to happen. Larry Rosen signed Jason Peters without a quality left tackle. Justin will probably get injured. Why does the new coaching geniuses understand it? Why don't they, you mean? Maybe they think Braxton Jones is going to be really good, Larry. I will say this. I don't know if Peters really fits what the new regime wants to do. He's a heavier offensive lineman. They like guys lighter on their feet. That's not 340-pound Jason Peters at almost 40 years old. But I understand what you're saying. Listen, I would go sign another offensive lineman. I've been pretty clear about that. Jock Harrington, why does everybody want to trade for receivers who are going to be free agents next year? Well, Jock, most of those guys are going to get tagged or new deals by then. They're all going to be franchise tagged. Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin. Why would any of those teams just let them enter free agency? They won't. They'll tag them or they'll trade them. So that's why teams want to trade for them. So they can, the Bears can be the team that gets one of those guys. Joe Chavez, Russell Wilson is a poor man's Justin Fields. Hey, if that's the case, then you got something in Fields because Russell Wilson's a stud. So if Fields is a better Russell Wilson, then hey, that's high praise. Neek trades Sangray Kim for a bag of Fritos. I'm not a big Fritos guy, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. Timothy Corrali, Sangray Kim is a Packer fan. Maybe. Just like Don Burr is really a Bears fan. We all know that's true. Sangray Kim, trade Boston plus Quinn for Darnold, 2 firsts. I'm just speechless. You get 3. I know what producer Jack's telling. I know what he's saying, Jack. You package 3 to get Bryce Young. We don't know what Bryce Young's going to be. I like Bryce Young a lot, but he's less proven than Fields in the NFL. He hasn't even played yet. So let's see what Justin can do this year. Come on. Kabadi Moody, if Mustipher was more physical and agile, would you feel better with him at guard? He has experience at center. Felt bull rushes. I think he could play. I just don't think he's strong enough to be a starter. I mean, that's just what it comes down to. If anything came money, I'd rather have him at center than Patrick at right guard. But again, I don't view Mustipher as a starting lineman in this league. Hopefully they figure out who the right guard is, because I don't think it's anybody currently on the roster unless someone surprises us. I don't trust Sam Mustipher. Georgia Rebel, why aren't we spending money to add to the defensive line position? They still might. Larry Ogunjobi, by the way, update there. He visited the Steelers on Tuesday, so we'll see where he ends up. But Bears got almost $24 million in cap space, so they can certainly make a move or two. Can I get a bear down in the comments? Just spam it right now. Well, I'll take a sip of water. Get those bear downs going. You can use the emojis. You can use the words. Doesn't matter. Type bear down in the comments, and let's get the chat lit up. Ryan Stevenson, do you think the Bears sign Julio Jones? I would guess no, but I do think he's going to play this year, and he's still unsigned, so we'll see. I'd be open to it. I'd be open to seeing what Julio's got left in the tank. Philip Paul Masano, if you had your choice of AA free agent right now, who would you sign? If I had to pick one guy, probably be Quentin Spain or Darrell Williams. Darrell Williams, formerly of the Bills, can play tackle or guard. Spain could plug in at right guard, but I'd also have interest in Eric Fisher and Dwayne Brown. There's several receivers like Emmanuel Sanders that I would be interested in, Will Fuller, Larry Ogunjobi if he's healthy, but maybe, it's possible he doesn't want to come here after that deal fell through. He feels like he got slighted. So, there's several guys I'm still interested in. Don Bird, Detroit top 3-0 line, the 2018 Goff will appear. Donnie, get the FDETs going in the chat for Donnie. Goff's done. Goff is a bridge starter at this point. He's not getting back to what he was when they went to a Super Bowl. Coach Matt Nagy is back. Are the Bears waiting to see how Roquan performs in the new defense before re-signing him? Not that I care about defense. Didn't seem like you cared about offense either when you were in Chicago. I don't know. I mean, it's a fair question. I don't know what the answer to that is. I think getting a contract extension makes sense for Roquan before training camp, but it's been pretty quiet on that movement. We'll see what happens. Kamani Moody, appreciate the super chat. Will we see Velus Jones Jr. in Wildcat this year? It's possible. I kind of view Wildcat as a gimmicky type of deal. If you're having to use it, it probably means your offense isn't good. Unless you have a specific weapon there. Like, for example, the Saints with Taysom Hill had some success with it because he could throw out of the Wildcat. But if you know they're running it 100% of the time, unless you have a dominant offensive line, which the Bears don't, I don't know how effective it actually is at this point. Appreciate everybody for submitting their questions. Be sure to follow and subscribe to us on Callin, chatsports.com/BearsCallin. Link to download on iOS and Android in the live chat. Weekly live shows every Tuesday after our Bears Now live stream on YouTube. We're going to go live on Callin here in about 10 or 15 minutes after our YouTube stream ends after this next segment. So be sure to click the link below, chatsports.com/BearsCallin, chatsports.com/BearsCallin. I want to answer all of your questions over there. So be sure to join us because we will be live for about 30 or 35 minutes over there. ACG, he knows what's good. He says just one thing, FGB. That's right, ACG. That's how we do it here. FGB. Get it going in the chat. FGB in the chat. And I would greatly appreciate it. Also, spam bear down in the comments section. That'll work as well. Quan says he loves the beer. Appreciate that, Quan. Been getting mixed reviews recently. I can't win everybody over these days. It's a tough world out there. Sammy says FGB. Busy does. Detroit runs the North from Don Burr. Since when? Ever? They couldn't win when they had superstars. Busy says bear down. Tyler says bear down. Sammy says bear down. Bear the F down from F the toilet from Nicholas. That's funny. Bear down from Bong. There's another super chat. We'll flash that one up here in a second. K-Money, Pringle going on another joyride over the break. I hope not. I hope not. I think he's probably learned his lesson. Hopefully he keeps his head on straight. And, hey, call Uber if you have had a couple of drinks. Not that he had a couple of drinks, but if he has, be sure to do that. Getting the tweet ready. One sec. Another super chat coming in from Shane. Shane asks, re-sign Roquan, trade for McLaurin, Super Bowl bound, LMAO. Hey, if you get Terry McLaurin, that's a game changer. Don't get me wrong. I just think that that would cost a lot of draft capital and obviously a lot of money, as you would have to re-sign him. Okay, here we go. We're going to get into one more segment, 53-man roster projection. So stay tuned for that coming up here on Bears Now. Today's episode of Chicago Bears Now is presented by Manscaped. Stay nice and clean downstairs with the Lawnmower 4.0. It's going to trim it up just like a lawnmower would trim up your lawn. You got to keep it nice and fresh down below. Manscaped.com, promo code Bears20. If you got bush, make sure to eliminate it with Manscaped. All right, I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome into Bears Now. Our show today is a way too early, not way, but a little bit of an early 53-man roster projection. We'll go position by position. And then, in September when the final roster comes out, we'll get to see how close I was on my initial one. We'll certainly do a couple more projections between now and week 1. All right, here we go. We'll start with quarterback and on offense. 2 quarterbacks make the 53. Justin Fields, obviously the starter. Trevor Siemian, the backup. Nathan Peterman gets cut, but I do think he does return onto the practice squad. So I think it's pretty straightforward here. I think this is what the depth chart will look like, obviously projected for now, but I think Fields and Siemian are your 2 guys, and Peterman you keep on your practice squad as one of your vets on the practice squad. I think he can carry 2 or 4. I forget what the number is. I think he will be that guy. How many quarterbacks will the Bears keep on their active roster? Type 2 or Type 3? You think it's going to be 2? You think it's going to be 3? Let us know. How many quarterbacks will they keep, 2 or 3? Let's go to the running back position. David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, Treston Ebner, Kari Blasingame at fullback, and then Darrington Evans gets cut. He was right there on the roster bubble, but I just don't see the upside to carrying 4 running backs plus a fullback. That feels like overkill to me. I don't think it's necessary. I think Treston Ebner can do enough of the things that Evans did, and that Evans can do, and you drafted Ebner, so I think there's some investment there. David Montgomery is your starter. Herbert's the RB2, and then Ebner can kind of be your do-it-all back and catch a little bit, can run some as well, do some special teams. I think that could be the case. I do think Evans could be a candidate to return to the practice squad, so we'll see what happens there. Then Blasingame is, of course, your fullback. All right, wide receiver, 6 guys making it here. Darnell Mooney, Byron Pringle, Velus Jones Jr., Equinemius St. Brown. I think those 4 are pretty safe. Maybe there's a scenario where St. Brown gets cut, but I don't think it's super likely. Tajay Sharp, Dante Pettis. I have them being 5 and 6 over someone like David Moore, then Daz Newsome as well. I've got Newsome, Moore, Finke getting cut. I do think that Newsome would return to the practice squad. Maybe Finke as well, a guy who performed pretty well during OTAs, but I think the depth chart would look like this. Top 3, pretty clear: Mooney, Pringle, Velus Jones Jr., St. Brown, wide receiver 4, Tajay Sharp, Dante Pettis making it as depth guys with an opportunity to get some playing time as well. I do think when training camp gets here, this wide receiver competition will be fascinating because outside of Darnell Mooney, nothing's really a given. Now, I'd be shocked if, someone like Byron Pringle got cut. I think he's making enough money where that won't happen. But nothing's a given after Mooney. I do think Pringle and Velus Jones are obviously safe. Jones is going to make this team. He was a third-round pick. Equinemius St. Brown, he could get cut, though. That could be a surprise cut. You just never know. So I think wide receivers 4 through 6, 4 through 5, however many they decide to carry on the active roster, that is going to be something to watch during training camp. Will Daz Newsome make the Bears' 53-man roster? I think that's a name to watch out for. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Now, by the way, when I label some cuts here, Chase Allen the next one, I'm not labeling every player that gets cut, just some notable guys, some guys who stood out maybe a little bit during camp, or a name that you guys might know. Like, I'm not, showing the cuts for all 37 guys on the 90-man that aren't going to make it. But at tight end, pretty simple. I think it's these three: Cole Kmet, Ryan Griffin, James O'Shaughnessy. Maybe Chase Allen has a chance to make the 53. He's done some good things from what I've been told, but UDFA tight end, he's going to be on the outside looking in. I think Griffin and O'Shaughnessy are pretty safe overall, and I think that's how the depth chart lays out. Kmet ready to take another step. Griffin, O'Shaughnessy, a couple of quality vets that can come in and block, come in and catch, 2 tight end sets. If you want to do that, I think you'd feel pretty good about that tight end room. Manscaped, if you want to keep it tight end, maybe you got some hair back there as well. Right on words, trying to make this thing funny here for you guys. Round of applause to me. Yay. No, in all seriousness, Manscaped, Lawnmower 4.0, the best men's grooming tool on the planet. They use advanced skincare technology, adjustable blades on this thing as well. That way, you can have a smooth shave downstairs. Go check out Manscaped. They have tons of other cool products as well. Manscaped.com, promo code BEARS20. Shave that bush off so your package is looking better and bigger. Code BEARS20, manscaped.com. That link is in the comments and in the description. All right, let's keep it moving here. We'll go to the offensive line here. I got 9 guys making it overall. Teams usually carry anywhere from 8 to 10. Braxton Jones, Larry Borum, Tevin Jenkins, 3 surefire tackles to make the roster. Cody Whitehair obviously got to start at left guard. Lucas Patrick got to start at center. They're safe. I think for now, Sam Mustipher has to be considered safe because he's your backup right guard, could be your backup center, depending on how they feel about Doug Kramer, who I also have making it. Zach Thomas should make it. I also have Jatiri Carter making it as well. Dakota Dozier heads to IR. A couple of notable cuts. A guy like Lachavious Simmons does not make it. But here you go. Here's the depth chart on the offensive line. If these 9 guys make it, we'll see if Dozier ends up getting released on an injury settlement and wants to play elsewhere if he gets healthy. But for now, he's an IR stash, and we'll see what happens on that front. I think the offensive line, more than any other position group, could change during camp. You could add a player. Guys are and probably will get shuffled around still. I don't think anything is set outside of center and left guard. I think Lucas Patrick's your starting center, and I think Cody Whitehair is your starting left guard. I think Braxton Jones is the favorite at left tackle, but I don't think that's a given. I don't have a clue at right guard. I guess for now it's Mustipher, but I think there's a lot of movement still to come there. And then right tackle, I would give Borum the edge, but, Tevin Jenkins probably isn't done in that conversation either. So a lot of shuffling that could still take place between now and week 1. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball now as we continue with our early 53-man roster projection. We're going 1 to 53 here, offense to defense. So 24 offensive guys. We go to defense now. Robert Quinn, Travis Gibson, they're obviously safe. Al-Qadim Muhammad, safe as well. Dominic Robinson, the rookie edge rusher out of Miami of Ohio. And then I went a little heavier here. Charles Snowden, Carson Taylor, couple of surprise guys. Snowden, the UDFA from last year. I think this 4-3 system should suit him better. And then Taylor as well, undersized guy out of Northern Arizona who has really impressed during the offseason program. OTAs, minicamp, Adam Hogue, if you guys listen to Hogan Johns or the CHGO guys, they all do a great job. He's specifically mentioned Taylor on multiple occasions as a guy who has stood out to him. Now, we'll see when the pads go on, since he is a little undersized, how he performs. But I think he's a guy that has jumped out so far, and I would guess Eberflus and Poles and the coaching staff have caught wind of that and have taken notice. So it's very possible one of Snowden or Taylor makes it, but I got both making it. I think it's possible that they could go a little heavier at edge, since they might be a little lighter at defensive tackle. Subscribe now to Chicago Bears Now, free offseason videos every single day, all offseason and all year long. And before you know it, boom, it'll be training camp, and preseason week 1 will be here. It'll be here before we know it. YouTube.com/Bears Now. We will continue to keep you updated with the latest Chicago Bears news and rumors. All right, let's go from edge to defensive tackle. 5 guys, we'll see. Justin Jones, Kyrus Tonga, Eric Tonga, Angelo Blackson, Mario Edwards, I think, are all safe. Edwards I labeled as defensive line because he could play some edge for you as well. They signed Mike Pinnell recently, who the last several years has been on an active roster. He's a pretty good run stopper, so I think he's probably safe. Maybe some insurance for a guy like Kairos Tonga if he's not ready for a bigger role. So we'll see. I got 11 defensive linemen. That's pretty heavy. I'm probably going to be wrong on one of these guys, but I do think Eberflus will value his front four. Plus, Robert Quinn, still a bit of a wild card. We don't know what's going to happen there. All eyes are on him between now and training camp. Will we hear anything? Could the Bears trade him? Does he want out? Will he show up at training camp? We shall see. Obviously, if he's in the mix, he's going to make the team. There's no doubt about that. But I do think teams will be interested in his services. I think, during this 5-week gap between minicamp and training camp, Ryan Poles will certainly be willing to answer the call and see, if there are suitable trade offers for Robert Quinn. If he gets one he likes, hey, he could trade him. We'll have to wait and see. What will the Bears do with Robert Quinn? Take a guess for us. Type T for trade, type K for keep. I think it's 50-50. I really do. I think it could go either way. Let me know what you guys think right now. All right, let's go to linebacker. 5 more guys here. Roquan Smith, Nicholas Morrow, pretty obvious. Those are going to be your 2 primary backers. When you're sitting in nickel, those will be the 2 guys out there most of the time. Matthew Adams, I think he's more of a 4th backer. For now, he's probably your number 3. He's a good special teams player, but for now, he's probably your Sam linebacker. Caleb Johnson, Jack Sanborn, another UDFA out of Wisconsin, which I think could make this team. Could certainly see the Bears adding another linebacker, Anthony Barr, Anthony Hitchens, Joe Schobert, some guys that are still out there. So don't be surprised if something like that were to happen. But for now, I think this is kind of what you're looking at. Roquan, Morrow, Adams, your 3 primary guys. I think you'll be a nickel a lot, so it'll be Nick Morrow and Roquan Smith. And then I think Caleb Johnson makes his team, as does Jack Sanborn. Let's go to the cornerback position. 5 guys make it. Notable cut is Duke Shelley. We'll get to him in a minute. But Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, your 2 starting outside corners. Tavon Young, Thomas Graham Jr., I think they'll compete at nickel. And then I think Kendall Vildor will make this team. He's got a decent amount of starting experience. He still has a couple of years left on his rookie contract. I just think I would rather go with him, a younger player, than a guy like Duke Shelley, he's had time and he just hasn't really taken that next step. I think Duke Shelley's time is up. Now, it could come down to Kendall Vildor, Duke Shelley, who's a better special teams player, and you could argue Shelley has been in his career, but I just wonder if this Bears regime looks at Vildor and is like, man, he's played a lot the last couple of years. Sure, he's gone through his ups and downs, mostly downs, but maybe there's still a little potential there, whereas with Duke Shelley, we kind of know what he is, right? He's a low-end nickelback, decent special teams guy. I would probably opt to keep a guy like Vildor over Shelley, but it could go either way. So this is the projected CB room. Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, Tavon Young. Graham would be competing at nickel, obviously, and then Kendall Vildor, a backup cornerback as well. All right, we'll get to safety, and then we'll wrap it up with the specialists. Eddie Jackson, free safety. Jaquan Brisker, strong safety. I think that's pretty clear who your starting safeties are. DeAndre Houston Carson, your 3rd safety. He'll play free and strong, but labeled him as free because Crookshank is kind of a strong. I think he makes it. And then Elijah Hicks, 7th-round pick out of Cal, who's missed a lot of the offseason stuff. He was nursing an injury coming into this offseason, but hopefully he's ready to go by training camp. 5 safeties. You could go 4. We'll see. But since I only went 5 corners, I went 10 defensive backs in total, 5 corners, 5 safeties. Houston Carson can play some nickel for you as well if you really need him to. So there you have it. That's the depth chart on that front. Name a surprise player that will make the roster. Jack Sanborn, Carson Taylor. Those could be a couple. Charles Snowden, some UDFA guys or some late-round picks. Daz Newsome would be a surprise at this point, I think. Let me know who a surprise player that you think is out there on this 90-man that could make the 53. No surprises here. Cairo Santos will be the kicker. Trenton Gill will be the punter. Antonio Ortiz is also on the roster as a long snapper, but I assume they'll go with the vet, Patrick Scales, because it's not a huge monetary difference. Probably go with someone they trust, but who knows? Maybe they'll go Ortiz. We'll have to wait and see, but pretty standard here for the specialists. I don't think this would surprise anybody. Gill, obviously a rookie out of NC State. That'll be a bit of an adjustment moving on from Pat O'Donnell, to Trenton Gill. There you go, 53-man roster projection. Let me know what your thoughts are on my 53 guys that make it down in the comments. If you have any bigger disagreements, you can, of course, let me know. That's why we have fun here, because we agree, we disagree, we go back and forth. YouTube.com/BearsNow. We continue to bring you the latest Bears news and rumors. That's why you should subscribe today. All right, get the FGBs going, and then we're going to go live on Callin here in just a moment. So stick around. We'll catch up on some super chats. Get the FGBs. I'll come back for some shout-outs in a second. You can get the FDETs going, too, because Don Burr's got a super chat. Can we get a DVE and F. Harrison, FCHI? These are my people, Don. You're going to be the only one saying FCHI, so it's all good. It's all good. I'll take your money, though. Shane Eubanks with the $2. Sanborn will be our number 3 linebacker. He's a beast. Very possible, Shane. For now, I've got Adams in there, but I think Sanborn could be that guy. I think when the pads go on, a lot of these battles, you'll see some separation, so could see that being the case for sure. FGB, make it happen in the comments. We'll get some shout-outs, and then pretty soon I'm going to activate Callin, and we'll go live over there. Callin is an app similar to Twitter Spaces. You guys hop in the caller queue. I take your questions. We have a good time. All right, Wasim says FGB. Ron says FGB. Sweaty Shorts says FGB. Ooh, sweaty shorts. No one likes that. Bandit says FGB. All right, let's see here. Going to go live on Callin here in just a second. Top Shot is saying FGB as well. Top Shot says FDET. Someone on Rumble in the chat saying, hey, Harrison, I'd rather be flying. Appreciate that. Appreciate that very, very much. Daryl saying FGB as well. All right, we're about to go live here on Callin, so let's go ahead and activate this piece. Boom. We're going live. Should be live now. What's up? Welcome in. Live on Callin. Am I unmuted over there, Jack? Got a few people hopping in. We'll get the link in the live chat. So go ahead and click that and join us right now. I'm tweeting it out as well. Listen, Callin is fun. You guys call me, I answer your questions, we chop it up back and forth, and we have a good time. So be sure to hop into the chat. We'll get that link peppered in the live chat for the next couple minutes. We'll take a call or two while YouTube and Rumble are still live, and then we will call it quits as well. So if you're listening on Callin already, welcome in. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hop in the caller queue whenever you're ready. Also get in the live chat. Get going over there. There's a live chat feature over on Callin, and we will have a good time. So let's make it happen just as soon as we can. Already seeing FGB over on Callin from Paolo. That's what's up. Get the FGBs going over on the Callin app. Richard on YouTube saying FGP. F. Don Burr from Dirk Nowitzki in the chat. The big German watching? That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, we got a call here from Bob. We'll take his call, then we'll probably go ahead and sign off on YouTube and on Rumble. All right, Bob, welcome in. Welcome back if you've been here before. If you unmute yourself on the bottom right-hand part of your screen, we could talk some Bears football. What's up, Bob?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. How you doing, Harris?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Hey, do you really think that Kairos Tonga is going to be the strong side tackle for the situation on this 4-3? Because I don't see it. I really don't.
I'm not sure if he'll start. It's either going to be him or Angelo Blackson, probably. I don't think Mario Edwards is big enough to play that spot. Justin Jones could slide over there some, but I think they want to keep him at 3-tech primarily. So it's certainly possible that Tonga starts. I would guess Blackson's the favorite to start early on, but I would be open to signing another guy to get in the mix there. Mike Pennell they added recently. Maybe he gets into the fold. It could just be a rotation, honestly, because I don't think they have a clear-cut guy that would start at that position.
Yeah, because like a McMichael type of dude, somebody
Sure.
that has real good strength and can rush the passer at the same time. I just don't see Tonga being that guy. He was renowned at BYU as being a pass blocker,
I will
you
say,
know.
yeah, I will say, I actually, when he played last year, I liked his energy, and he was able to penetrate a little bit, but he's a seventh round pick for a reason, right? I mean, it's not like
So,
we should expect him to just light the world on fire, but if he can be a part of a rotation, I mean, I think that's certainly fine. But at the same time, I get what you're saying. I don't think he's some long-term starting solution. I mean, that's why I've said, hey, I don't think he'll come here. He'll probably go to a contender, but I'd be open to a guy like Ndamukong Suh because I think he'd fill that role very nicely for a year.
yeah, that'd be true.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a
So,
lot, Harris. Appreciate it.
all right, Bob, I appreciate it. Chicago sports, we'll get to you in just a moment. But first, we're going to sign off on YouTube. So, final chance to get over to Callin. You can join the other folks. We got 23 people live over there. Chatsports.com/BearsCallin. There's a link in the live chat for you to click and to join. We're going to sign off on YouTube and on Rumble. Chatsports.com/BearsCallin. We're going to sign off here. We'll see you on the Callin app. We'll see you on YouTube and Rumble very soon.